Is it time the church took mental illness seriously? Hello and welcome to the IN2G Show. I'm Luke White.
And I'm Sun Shyne.
And for today's story, we're going to be talking about Rick Warren, and in particular Rick Warren's son, who has recently committed suicide. Now, Rick Warren, for those of you who aren't aware, is a famous megachurch pastor and author of The Purpose-Driven Life and The Purpose-Driven Church, two books that are have been tremendously influential in the church community. So recently, Rick Warren announced that his son had committed suicide. And
I think it was Matthew.
Matthew had committed suicide, and he shared quite a moving letter, which is available online, with the church community, and detailing just how deep the depression was for his son and how he had battled with depression for many years and also with suicidal thoughts. And obviously this eventually overcame him, and he decided to take his own life. So we're talking today about mental illness, and if we deal with it in a responsible way within our church walls. Have you found that, I don't know, in the churches you've attended, that mental illness is something that is addressed?
No, I think that mental illness is a very touchy subject within church. I think that people feel that your body can become sick but that your mind can't. I think they feel when you talk about having a mental illness, then they might go to something like they don't think that it's necessarily something that can be treated by drugs. They have a very heavy intolerance towards mental illness and drugs, thinking that it can't help, but if we have a physical pain and that needs medication, people are willing to do it. And I personally and forthrightly do not agree with that. And I think that what was very key in Pastor Warren's letter, and I have no idea of what it's like to lose a son, but when he talked about his son suffering from a mental illness and depression and suicidal thoughts, he said that those very close to him and his family would have known that he suffered from a mental illness. But my thought was instinctively, why was it such a secret? And that's what I feel like a lot of mental illnesses, people who suffer from mental illness, is kept a heavily guarded secret, as if there's something wrong with them. Like it's a taint on the family, or, you know, that there's a deeper problem maybe with the mum, like did she have a child late? Are they suffering from demon possession? Should they just exercise more? Are they having a wrongful diet? And I just feel like it's completely wrong. And I think that a pastor who's been going through this, who even himself is kind of admitting through the letter that it was a very secret thing that they were all suffering from. That's what makes it more difficult for people suffering from mental illness, is the fact that it's kept like that. There's something wrong with them.
I think one of the most interesting things that came to mind was the fact that mental health in general is just like physical health.
Yeah.
You know, everyone has a level of physical health. Some people are extremely fit and run marathons. Some people are extremely lazy and exercise their fingers just on the remote control every day, you know. And I think, for me personally, if churches would accept that mental health, everyone has a position on the spectrum of mental health.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think as much time should be given to that type of issue as is given to, as you say, eating the right foods or you know, having the right amount, taking the right amount of exercise. And for me, throughout my life at my local church, at times different weird things have happened with certain members. You know, a member getting up on stage and kind of walking around like they're lost. A member smashing the glass on stage and then being ushered out. But the next week, no one comes and talks about it, discusses it. It's just like, that person, probably most people think, you know, the devil, or, you know, as you say.
Yeah.
But I think it's a real problem that needs to be spoken about, and definitely is not.
I just feel like people talk about sin, and they talk about all the things that are a result of sin, the come down of sin, and, you know, children dying young, and birth defects and disability, and etc., etc. But they never really talk about mental illness being that. It's like, oh no, that's something else. If there's something wrong with the mind, and you never know, like you said, how stable someone's mind is. It can take something very small, like a death in someone's family, just for someone's mind to just not be able to cope with it. And sometimes people have physical what's the word?
Manifestations of
Stress,
yeah.
But sometimes the brain will take the whole load, but the body can physically be fine. And I think that there needs to be a lot more support for people with mental illness. I think there needs to be a bit more understanding, that there needs to be more education.
Yeah,
there's so much work that needs to be done.
A lot more awareness. Do you think it's the church's role? I mean, finally, you know, some people do believe that it's not the church's remit to deal with, you know, there's a lot of issues. Some say social injustices, mental health could fall into another category. Do you definitely think that, would you say that it is part of the church's remit to speak to this type of issue?
I think that if it affects the community of believers, then it is something that needs to be addressed. And there are people within our churches who are trained to kind of deal with these things, but probably don't even say, because it's not recognised as something that is wrong. But let us know what you think.
Please do get in touch with us at our IN2G Twitter profile, at IN2G, or go onto our Facebook page or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let us know, have you been affected? I reckon you have been affected by mental illness in some way. Let us know your stories and let us help to encourage other people who may be experiencing something like this. And our thoughts and our prayers are with the Warren family and the Saddleback community. I'm Luke White.
And I'm Sun Shyne.
And we are encouraging you to live a better life.